Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Oweleke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and we have our regular and special guest, Barrister Austin Manta, the principal partner of AA Manta & Co. Today we shall be talking about some political issues, the latest development in Edo State politics. As we all know, Edo is gearing up for gubernatorial election sometimes down the future, near future. And we shall be discussing also what made news a couple of days ago. Atiku Abubakar coming to recontest in 2027. That these are the two major topics we'll be discussing. And if time permits, we shall be talking about a global situation between Israel and South Africa. As we all know, South Africa has been an antagonist of Israel for several years, and some of you know the reason behind that. We shall be talking about that, the reason, the political reason, the financial reason, and yes, I think those are the personal reasons why South Africa is just bent on being an antagonist, a perpetual antagonist to Israel. So these are the three topics we'll be discussing, and today I hope and I believe that we will meet your expectations as we discuss this. Again, we are having our regular special guest, Barrister AA Manta, to really dissect all these topics. He is the principal partner of AA Manta & Co., a lawyer of a very high pedigree, someone I respect his legal judgments. I respect legal judgments immensely because it has proven to be viable. So Barrister Manta, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm a bit late due to at least what I just explained to you. Thank you for honoring us again to be on our show.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Let's go straight to the point. First, can you please give us an update about the Edo State gubernatorial election? I think they are in their primaries now. They're in their primary election right now. They are trying to conduct primary election. Some crazy stuff happened earlier in the week. There was this video that made rounds that went viral on social media. Honestly, that video was an eyesore to me. I saw that video. I said, "What is it? No matter what kind of politics is Nigeria playing, for God's sake?" I saw initially. I looked at the people they were. I thought they were just common criminals, probably And after I went through what happened, and I realized that I found out that these are party officials because probably they belong to an opposing faction of a party. And I don't know why these are probably adults, married men with children, for God's sake. They molested them, they dehumanized them, humiliated them. I don't know what camp they belong to, but I don't care. But no matter what, even if it's the camp of the enemy, you don't treat human beings that way. You treat human beings with a level of respect and decorum, for God's sake. And please, what is the problem? Can you give us update or give us a detailed information of what is actually going on in Edo State politics?
Well, thank you very much, JIBRIN. what is happening in Edo State today is not peculiar to Edo State. It is the way that politics is carried out in Nigeria. There are no limits, no hold barriers. The contest for power is physical, is metaphysical, is spiritual. Everything that can be thrown into the fight for power in Nigeria is used by the protagonist. As you are aware, Edo State, the ambition of the deputy governor to succeed the governor is at the heart of all the schemings within the ruling party in Edo State. And you are also aware that the governor, Obaseki, is not in support of the ambition of his deputy, as usually happens almost throughout Nigeria. If you look at the whole 36 states, maybe about 2 states only, where the governorship candidate, the governor supported his deputy to become the governor, but it never ended well. Like you can give an example of Kano State, where Kwankwaso supported his deputy Ganduje to become a very rare case. But you see how the whole thing played out. In Edo State, the governor is not supporting his deputy to be the candidate of the party for the elections. Apart from that, the person supposed or perceived to be the governor's candidate is also receiving a lot of flags and opposition from elements within the PDP, that is the ruling party in Edo State. He is perceived more as an outsider. So there are various elements. You have the deputy governor's section or group in the party, you have the governor's group, you have other elements in the group, and another set of people that also want to get the party's ticket. So this is a fertile atmosphere for every kind of maneuver, every kind of struggle, physical, spiritual, and otherwise, that you see playing out in the open in Edo State now. Recall that the deputy governor comes from the same zone with Oshiomhole, Adams Oshiomhole, who has had 8 years as governor. Now, the governor's intention is to move the governorship to Edo Central, I suppose, in an unspoken sort of agreement. But is receiving a lot of, the deputy governor himself is more or less a street fighter. It's his support for Baseki that enabled them to overwhelm Adams Oshiomhole and his candidate, Pastor Eye Izamo, then. So he feels that he should be recompensed. It's time for his boss, the governor, to pay back for standing with him. And don't forget, the deputy governor has some relationship with Oshiomhole. So for him to abandon that relationship and pitch his tent with Obaseki to fight Oshiomhole at that time was a serious give out. So he believes that this time around the governor should throw his weight behind him. But apparently the governor has his own ideas about who should succeed him and where his successor should come from. Maybe he feels that he will not be able to control, direct, or supervise his deputy if he becomes a governor based on his strength of character. Now you will see some realignment now going on. You see a softening of talk. I heard the deputy governor recently saying that he regrets the kind of language that he used against Oshemole in those days. So when you see these actors speaking like this, you know they are trying to curry favor. They are trying to seek and realign with the realities on the ground. So in that kind of atmosphere, anything can happen. The parties are doing their primaries to nominate the candidate. On the other side of it, the APC, which is the ruling party at the federal level, backed by Oshomole, the former governor, and other federal might, are also trying to put their stuff. So the issue is a fight to the finish. If the deputy governor, before he even announced that he intended to contest, there was a court case. A court case. He came out when he knew inside the house, before the public knew that his boss was not supporting him. He came out and there was a suit, but the governor stood his ground. So for the deputy governor to persist that he wants to contest, you can take it that the line has been drawn. The battle line was drawn. So everything can go. And in Nigerian politics, anybody that is perceived to stand in the way of one's ambition, whatever you can do, you will be able to, you want to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, can you tell? Can you? I want emphasis on, just apart from the PDP debacle. I want also emphasis on Labour Party, because this video I talked about was this violent video was I think it had to do with Labour Party primaries also. I was made to understand that the Labour Party will have up to almost 30, I think about 29 aspirants to contest under the under Labour Party. I think Labour Party has more problem than PDP. I think that's where emphasis. I know the PDP's issue is it's an old issue, whatever. I'm talking about, I would actually want us to lay emphasis on what is happening in Labour Party. And apart from that, what are the parties, which political party is actually making impacts, or which political party do we foresee or see to actually make impacts in the election? And who are the formidable candidates? Who are the candidates that we can say, okay, these people are formidable? These are the things I actually want us to, because the PDP, yes, I don't want us to dwell too much on that. Right?
I was coming to the Labour Party issue. You know that the obedient movement and the Labour Party performed credibly well in Edo State in the last elections. So this has given impetus to the party to bring up candidates, and it is now a veritable and strong platform on which somebody can contest and have reasonable assurance of performing well. Wherever a platform becomes strong and credible, you find a deluge of aspirants coming under those platforms. Now there are more than 30-something parties that are contesting.
Parties or aspirants?
Parties that will put forward candidates.
Oh, really?
In that election, but we can use the word fringe parties. They are fringe parties. We can only relate to the three major parties, that's the PDP, APC, and Labour Party. And Labour Party came into the equation because of the obedient movement. If not, they will also have been categorized among the fringe parties. But because of the obedient movement and the way they progressed during the last election, Labour Party has been catapulted into a credible platform to contest for election in many states across Nigeria today. So that is the background that you see what is happening in Edo State. Then when you come to the people trying to contest, you remember the former NBA chairman,
Yes.
who also joined Labour Party and signified his intention to contest. I'm talking about Olu Apata, who joined Labour Party and signified his intention to contest the gubernatorial election in Edo State. Now, don't forget that the factions in the Labour Party have not completely gone away at the national level. The factionalization of the party has not been completely dealt with. So the jostling is so fierce in Edo State. They even tried, some faction will say, look, you are not, we don't recognize you as a member of our party, so you have no basis to come and contest for elections on the platform of Labour Party in Edo State. So it is under the atmosphere that you see the video that you are referring to, where all this infantile behavior is being put into the public arena. Very, very disgraceful behavior being exhibited in the open and for all the world to see. So at the end of the day, when you talk about the ability of candidates or which party is in the forefront, it will still come down to, number one, the candidates that the parties will bring up. In the Labour Party today, because of all this fighting, we are not very sure who is going to emerge as the gubernatorial candidate of Labour Party in Edo State. But in PDP, you can rest assured that the person, I think Godalo also, that is being supported by
the governor.
By the governor, will end up emerging. And in the APC, Pastor Eze Iyamo is still angling to be the candidate of the APC. Now, if the APC, the Labour Party should bring somebody like Apata, who has name recognition, both locally and nationally, as a former NBA chairman, he will have an intellectual, let me put it this way, he will tower above the other candidates on paper. That is on paper. He will tower, if you are looking from outside, like you are there in the US looking in, and say, look, this out of these three candidates, see former NBA chairman, see this PDP candidate who is virtually unknown, and see Pastor Eze Iyamo, who is a serial loser because he has contested previously. He has looked for governorship of Edo State on several occasions, both in the PDP and in the APC, and he has lost. So if you are looking in, you say, look, the Labour Party bringing out somebody like Olu Akpata has more credibility for governance. But
what party? There is this PAMSEC, this former retired PAMSEC. What party is he contesting? Former PAMSEC for Ministry for Foreign Affairs.
And the former PAMSEC, I believe, is looking for it in the APC.
Oh, okay.
It's in the APC.
Okay.
So by the time the primaries are concluded, we will have a very clearer picture of the strengths of the candidates and the parties. But don't forget that the APC has federal might and they have the levers of power at all levels. And by extension, the way the elections are being conducted in Nigeria, which we have discussed on this platform, you will be left wondering whether they will throw away their advantage of the power they have and allow other parties to capture Edo State.
All right. I think that is it for that. I hope our viewers are more enlightened about the political happenings in Edo State. Anyway, we wait for, when is the election coming up? When is the primaries and when is the election proper? Sorry? The network is not cooperating this time. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me, Barrister?
I did not get the last. Internet network is not stable here.
Yeah. I said, when is the?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
When is the election? When is the primary election and the gubernatorial election?
The primary elections within the parties will be concluded this month. I believe the gubernatorial elections is sometimes in April, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so everything is just close. All right, then. Yes. Let's move on to the next topic. What is now? It's about Atiku Abubakar. I think Atiku Abubakar is about 72 or 70. I think it should be about between 72 and 75 years, right?
Exactly. Yes, he's in his 70s.
And by 2027, he will become basically almost inching towards 80 years, almost maybe late 70s, worst case scenario.
I think he will be about 77 years then.
I don't get it. Anyway, honestly, let me be frank with you. Okay, before I speak, I give my opinion on that. Now, excuse me. What do you have to say? What's your opinion about this article coming? I think this the last election was the fourth or the fifth. Was it the fourth or the fifth attempt? If I can still remember, I think about the fourth attempt. It should be the fourth attempt. But by Obasanjo time, he did one as a vice then. Then after Obasanjo, during Goodluck Jonathan, he contested and lost. Then during Buhari's time, he contested and lost. He contested twice during Buhari time, the first and second, right? Yes, he did twice. So 2000 and this one was the 2023 presidential election was the fifth attempt, failed attempt. Wow. So yes. What do you have? What is your opinion on Atiku's? Because initially, when I heard the rumor, I read or whatever, I realized that truly, I thought probably, probably one of his praise singers were trying to be mischievous. But I realized that the information came from the horse's mouth, a sort of, yes, came technically from the horse's mouth. That means it wasn't a rumor. It was real. It was news indeed. So what is your opinion on Atiku's re-election, coming back to contest for 2027 presidential election again? And probably yes, they say forming alliance or whatever, a formidable alliance rather, to oust the ruling party, APC.
Yes. What I know of Nigerian politicians, in the aftermath of the elections that produced Tinubu as president, if Atiku had made a press conference and told Nigerians that he's done with contesting for elections, I would not have believed it. Because Nigerian politicians do not give up.
Never say never.
Whether they are 80, whether they are 90, they do not give up. And don't forget Buhari himself at the other election when he lost. He cried on public television and wept and said he's done with contesting elections.
Yeah.
But you see now in 2015, he came up again. So whatever a Nigerian politician tells you about his retirement from politics, just keep it aside and wait until you actually see it to confirm it. The Nigerian politician is driven more by ego than by what he has to offer.
Mm.
The moment they have money, a lot of money, the next thing they believe is that they want the power. So as long as they are alive and kicking, they will always look at that thing and say, I can take it. I can become the president. So it is not about your ability to deliver. It's just the ego that is within them. You have the money, people are not owing to you. They are, look at the way Tinubu was, even before he became president. They used to call, the documentary that said the Lion of Bodilon.
Yes.
His residence at Bodilon became a sort of mecca even before he became president. They are going there from all over the country to pay homage in that atmosphere when people are literally worshiping you. What else do you want to now hold the physical power by yourself? Now that is what drives the Nigerian politicians. So Atiku being 77, to him it does not matter as long as he gets the presidency. And now he is seeing Tinubu, who is also very old, running the office. And the way the president is configured is such that you can run it even if you are 80. As long as you are not, your sickness is not debilitating and will knock you out. Because all it does is you reduce your level of activity as president and delegate more. So when they feel, look, I can run this office even if I'm 80 years. So why should I stop? So there's no incentive for the Nigerian politicians to withdraw, to leave it to the young people, the coming generation. They don't think in those terms. They don't think in those terms. And in any case, the coming generation or the young generation have not distinguished themselves in the Nigerian politics.
Yeah.
You bring a young man to make him governor or minister, and he ends up being worse than the old people.
That is it. That's the point.
Whether in terms of corruption or inefficiency.
That is it.
They look at it and say, oh, what is the advantage of the young people on the old people? There's no advantage. They are united in corruption. They are united in incompetence.
Yes, you're right.
In government. So there's nothing that we compare him or give him the incentive to say, I will retire. He has the money. He still has his connections throughout the country. And people look up to him. The only issue that we militate against him, number one, is the geopolitical configuration. It is fair that the presidency, having stayed in the north for 8 years, should go and stay in the south for 8 years. So it is going to be a very big issue against him if he want to truncate the 8-year presidency of the south and limit it to 4 years by coming out to contest in 2027. There will be massive opposition throughout the south on that issue because they will feel that it is our 8 years. So why we allowed you to rule for 8 years? Why do you now want to truncate when it's our turn? You want to limit us to 4 years. That is going to work against him. But the next 4 years will determine the direction that the people will face. if the suffering, the current level of suffering that is in the country persists into that period, then all bets will be loose. All these geopolitical considerations may not count, because the people would have been driven to a position of despondency and hopelessness. And they will be looking up to somebody that they believe has better capability. On the other hand, if Tinubu is able to make some marginal success, achieve some marginal successes, it will reinforce the claim of those who say it is our turn in the South and we must do our 8 years.
Anyway, starting from that, talking about Tinubu making marginal success, honestly, Tinubu will make nothing. I always say something that you cannot build something on nothing. When the foundation is faulty, that's what the Bible says. When the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? Nothing. If the foundation is faulty, the building will be shaking. If you don't lay good foundation, you build upon a faulty foundation, the building obviously will just be standing on a keg of gunpowder. That's just the case with Tinubu. That's just the truth. You see, I keep saying something about this issue of foundation. Foundation matters a lot in anything and everything. Why I do not have faith or hope in Tinubu doing anything good is because, let's even assume he decides to repent and say, okay, personally make up his mind, look, I have repented and I just want to do the right thing. This is my life is on probably inching towards sunset. So what else do I have? I've got wealth, I've got fame, I've got power, I've got everything. So what do I need? So I don't need all these things anymore. So what I need to do, I have changed and I want to do the right thing and actually make Nigeria much better. I am telling you, if Tinubu assuming he decides to do that himself, all by himself, alone, makes up his mind to do that, he cannot. You know why? He cannot do that. The Nigerian presidency is not an island. Now, you first of all consider, because his foundation is corrupt, how did he get there? He got there through corrupt means. How was the corruption made? It was through soldiers, not physical soldiers, not literal soldiers, political followers. And that is just it. So people helped him to get there. And the people who helped him to get there, they too have their own ambitions and aspirations and desires, which are also corrupted as well, which are based with these desires and whatever, all these elements are based on corruption. So these same people, you want to tell them, even if you want to do the right thing as a president, do the right, enact the right policies, implement the right policies, spend money on the right projects, implement right stuff, do everything good, the right thing in a very noble and sincere way. These same people will not agree. They will not. They may not tell you straight, but they will not only sabotage you, they want to pull you down. These same people are connected to National Assembly. They are connected to the judiciary. They are connected to, these are the people who helped you through the Supreme Court, through the courts, tribunal, helped you through the INEC, helped you through National Assembly, helped you through everything. And you cannot just stand up one morning and say, no, I have repented. I'm no longer doing that stuff. I want to do the right thing this time around. They will not. That's not the truth. That is why I do not have hope. I don't have an iota of hope and faith in Tinubu doing anything good for the benefit of the country. Honestly, Tinubu is just there for now. Honestly, what they are there for is just to share Nigeria. Look at the budget now. The budget will tell you that. You see, they say whatever will be good. I'm trying to remember this adage. Any day, a day that will be good, you will know, you will see the sign from the morning. From you obviously say any day that will come out will be good, you will start seeing the sign from the morning. That's just it, and that is the reality. This government started on a very bad footing. First of all, on the inauguration day, swearing in day, that was the first thing he did, was just to antagonize Nigerians, punish Nigerians without preparation, without anything, just pull rug off our feet by taking away the subsidy. Wrongly. There's nothing wrong, of course. Subsidy should be taken away. I support that. But he did it wrongly. No enabling, no cushioning environment before doing that. That was the number one. The second, he brought up budget that is just riddled with all kinds of nonsense. Budget with just 5% as capital expenditure. I don't understand. So how is it nothing definitely good? I don't expect anything good to come from Tinubu. That is just the truth. Now, on Atiku, honestly, issue of age, I've never had issue of age with politics. Honestly, I don't have any problem with age. If you like, make you be 250 years. What matters to me is your mental acuity, mental capacity, mental viability. Those are the mental alertness. That is what matters to me. Even if we have a state, even if you are a crippled, we have a state in Texas in the US. I mean, Texas. The governor is on a wheelchair, and the guy is doing incredibly well. So my own focus is if you are mentally and psychologically sound, I don't care about your age. I don't care about your age. You're not being the president. You're not going there, just like you said, you're not going there to do some workouts, physical activities. What you are going there to do has to do with the mind, with the brain. So the moment your brain is sound, I don't care about your age. I don't care about your age. That does it. My problem with Atiku's case is not about my own gross with him, my own disapproval of him. It's not about age, honestly. I don't care. And besides, he still looks good. He still looks strong or whatever. My issue with him is Atiku is a corrupt man. But honestly, I would have preferred him far more than the Tinubu we have right now. Honestly, trust me, I prefer Atiku. Has his corruption was not half of what Tinubu has done at all, and that is just it. And I think Atiku we couldn't have taken us there. But honestly, with Atiku will do much better than Tinubu. I'm telling you. However, I don't even support any of them. I don't expect Atiku to contest again. If he does, he will fail again. I predicted it so many years ago that Atiku is just too ambitious, that he will never smell there. But unfortunately, who am I? I said the same thing to Tinubu. With Tinubu, I said the same thing too. I remember you and I talked. I said when you were the one who predicted. Then you told me, and you said that you told me actually how powerful that man was. That honestly that he can actually be the president. You actually predicted rightly. You saw it coming, but I told you for where Nigeria will not put that. Tinubu has had so many baggages that Nigerians will not buy into at all, sort of. So unfortunately, I was wrong, and you were right, sort of. So that is just it. Again, just like Buhari time, I was an ardent supporter of Buhari. You told me that that man, Nobiam, sort of. You got it right again, and I got it wrong, sort of. So anyway, that is just it. Now, back to the Atiku stuff, or an alliance and other stuff. Honestly, I'd rather someone else does that. Atiku, I don't have any serious, apart from that he's corrupt, but I think he's far better than Tinubu. So that is just it. I don't see, but honestly, I don't know why these people keep failing and failing and failing and keep coming back to do the same thing again. I don't understand. As far as I'm concerned, this is just waste of money, waste of resources. This money can be used for so many other things. A sort of, because this money, anytime you fail, you have lost money. Anytime you fail, you lost money. So that is just the truth. Anyway, I think that
let me add something that whenever you are reflecting or discussing Nigeria's politics,
yes,
you should not forget that the normal things that drive politics in many countries is not the same things that drive politics in Nigeria. Otherwise, for instance, yesterday I was reading a government white paper in one of the states where a governor misappropriate over 200 and something billion naira of the state's funds. Some of the state's assets and shares in big companies like Julius Berger was sold, and they simply paid billions of naira to Bureau de Change people, private accounts of Bureau de Change, and those people converted into foreign currency and took the money to the governor.
What governor is that?
I don't want to mention, but it's my state, incidentally.
Wow.
There was a commission of inquiry, and in one instance, shares of the state were sold for 9 billion. And the governor directed about 3.4 billion was paid into the account of a Bureau de Change man who had nothing to do with the government. And that man converted the money into foreign currency, and the governor was given the money. You see Syria, money spent without appropriation. Withdrawal of $1 billion naira cash from the bank constantly, and the money is taken to the governor. This is the state in which, or the manner in which, our politicians run the country. And nothing happens to them. Nothing happens to the man. He's alive and kicking and using that money. Only yesterday I read an article that in this present government, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Dr. Edo, directed the payment of 650-something million to a private account of an individual. And when this thing was exposed, she came out to justify it, that that person was a project accountant of the funds that they want to distribute to indigent people in about 4 states, including Lagos. And they were right to pay the money into the 600 and something million paid into the private account of an individual. Now, if you see our financial guidelines, Nigeria's financial guidelines, they prohibit the payment of your personal money into a government account and vice versa, meaning that public funds cannot be paid into the account of a private individual. At the same time, the private individual cannot use his money and pay into a government account. But you see, it's happening, and they are defending it. They are telling us that, well, this thing is happening, that is happening is system-wide. They are paying money into private accounts where the person is supposed to be the coordinator of a particular project. This is ripe for corruption.
Yeah.
This is ripe for corruption. If you have a certain number of indigent people that you want to transfer money to, why do you have to send the money to somebody's account for the person to now transfer the money to those indigent people? I'm talking of yesterday in this government, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs.
Yeah, I think I
They didn't deny it. They did not deny that they are trying to just. That is not justifiable. That is against financial regulations.
no, but
That should never come to be.
Yeah, what do you expect? This is just, I was told, I think she was appointed minister just barely 2 or 3 months ago, right?
Exactly.
You can imagine.
This is the way
that's
in Nigeria.
Yeah, Barrister, that's my point. I said it before. I said, look, what do you expect from this? This government has just come. They have come. The Tinubu government have come to just share Nigeria's wealth. That's just it. Just imagine a minister just barely 3 months, appointed a minister. She already embezzled tens of billions of naira. That's my point. Just barely 3 months. What do you expect? Of course, like I said earlier, people helped this man to get there. These people they will pay themselves back. That's exactly what they are doing. And that's just it. And back to Atiku's case or whatever, this issue of young generation contesting, the old generation giving room for the young. I'm just like you too. I don't believe in those nonsense. Okay, not totally, like, because you two believe in young generation, but I don't believe in that. I don't believe in those crazy young generations. Like I said, my focus is not on age. My focus is on competency, capacity. That is my focus, not age. I don't care if you are 15 years old, as long as you can do the right thing. And I don't care if you are 200 years old. I don't care, as long as you can do the right thing. So age does not matter. Just like you said, we have seen young people. What are they doing? They are disappointing us. The so-called young people nowadays. The young people of nowadays, what do they do? Their focus is wealth. That's their focus. Mundane things of life. So they get there. The next thing, they focus on their personal gains, and that's just it. So look, honestly, I am careless about age when it comes to leadership. So if they make old people they rule, they go. As long as my own focus is do the right thing. Age doesn't matter to me. Age to me doesn't matter. What matters to me is there are some people who are 30 years, their mental acuity, their IQ is in the waters. And there are some people who are 100 years, they are so smart. I listened to some interviews of elderly guys, some public or whatever. When you listen to you understand. Okay, just like this Donald Trump of 18, at his age, for God's sake, that man his IQ is so smart. At his age, there are people who are less than his age, who are not healthy mentally. And so that's the point. So it's about age. It's not about age. It's about what you can do. And so I don't believe in that. So, but Atiku in his case, why I do not want him to contest. One, look, he's a serial contestant. Failure, it's a serial failure. Contesting, failed contestant. That is one. Secondly, he does not have anything to offer other than he just wants to achieve that as his last, just like what Tinubu is doing now. Okay, I've got this wealth, I need power. That's just it. It's not there. All these guys are not actually they're not coming for patriotic reason. They're not coming for patriotic reasons. That's just the truth. And thirdly, 2023, I don't know, they are planning for 2027 election. Anyway, I don't have hope. I don't have faith in 2027 because the truth is, what happened in 2023 election, how the Supreme Court, the judiciary, and the Supreme Court did it has dashed our hope, sort of. It will be very difficult for people to even come out the way they did. Look, we have lost faith in our electoral system. With what happened, what do you expect? Why will give me a reason why will people come out to vote? Of course not. Vote doesn't count anymore. It just bulldoze your way through to presidency or to governance. That is just the truth. So anyway, we just I don't know, Nigeria, honestly, I am just, as it is this moment, I'm just hopeless for Nigeria, honestly. because we are not on the right footing at this time. Our leaders, our current crop of leaders, are just not there, and that is just it. And I just pray, I just hope and pray that truly, actually, that 2027 election will go the right way. But I don't see it personally. My instinct, I may be right, I may be wrong, but my instinct doesn't, because this 2023 election is the worst. I honestly, I can't believe that our election all our elections have been rigged. There's no doubt about that. But this one was just too glaring, too obvious, that everything that was black, they automatically called it white. It was just too crude, too raw, too direct for someone. It was all glaring and conspicuous. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really. I have the future of Nigeria is just full of uncertainties. Only God knows, and that is just it. So that being said, Barrister, let's move to the last topic. I hope we can deal with that shortly. South Africa has been an ardent antagonist of Israel. Their reason is they are supporting Hamas, supporting Palestinians, because they too were they were under apartheid, they were under colonial masters, they were under technical slavery for several years. They were under persecution. They were under dehumanization by the whites that ruled Africa. They made the blacks to pass through hell. We all know what happened or whatever. We all know what we saw, what happened, we heard what happened, we read what happened. So we are sure we are very conversant with what happened in South Africa. But Barrister, this is one of the reasons, because this is their own reason, public reason though, that why they support Palestine. But I think there are, in my own opinion, there is also political angle to that, and there is also financial angle to that. But let's even talk about their own reason why they do that. Can you compare the South African apartheid government to what is happening between Israel and Palestine? Please, can you compare these? But are these two synonymous? These two situations or cases?
There is no basis for comparison between what happened in South Africa during the apartheid regime and what is happening in Israel and Palestinians today. There is no basis. And why one can understand where the South African regime, where they are coming from. If you recall, the revolutionary movement being run, the government is still being run by the ANC, the African National Congress. This direction of enmity towards Israel was actually given by Mandela himself. And part of the reason is that during the struggle for independence of Black South Africans, the US, and by extension, the Israelis, did not support that struggle as they wanted. Yes. They were not in support of the struggle, I mean the military struggle. So from that time, they cannot be friends of that revolution.
The West.
The ANC that continues to rule South Africa today. And I remember where there's, if you see one of these videos where Mandela was asked about his friends, and he was asked about his friends Muammar Gaddafi, Fidel Castro of Cuba, and some, I think, one other person in Venezuela. And he said that the problem is that some people want their enemies to be enemies of all their other people as well. And he referred to the fact that during the struggle, Gaddafi, Fidel Castro, they supported them to the hilt. They supported them not just in wars, but with materials and giving them basis for education to send their people to be educated and others. So they are not looking at their, whether they are dictators or whether their system of government is oppressive. They are looking at the friendship they demonstrated to them during their struggle. But after saying that, you come to the situation between Israel and Palestine and compare between the apartheid regime, the Boers in South Africa, and the blacks. You know, the situation in South Africa was not just a situation of violence ab initio, that is from the word go.
Yeah.
It was a situation that the whites came to Cape Town around 16 something, and they met the natives, the blacks, in the hinterland as they tried to move. They created for themselves their own colonies and their own societies, and excluded, and in that creation, they became wealthy and powerful, and they excluded the black population. The black population did not start armed struggle until much later in the early 60s. After decades of suffering, where everything was segregated, schools were segregated, even bathrooms in hotels were segregated. There are special areas for whites and special areas, even roads. There were roads that the blacks could not pass. It is in that atmosphere that eventually the armed struggle started. Now, when you contrast what happened in Israel before its creation in 1948 until the present day, it is not the Israelis that are committing genocide against the Palestinians. It's the other way around.
That is it.
But by means of international propaganda, they have succeeded in getting most of the world, people who do not want to really look deep into the issue, to take sides. You know, a David and Goliath story has been presented. A strong man and a weak man scenario has been presented. And when you are hearing from somewhere, the natural tendency is to side with the weak person,
David, yes,
or to side with the David. So this is what is happening. The propaganda has succeeded in catching the attention of people throughout the world, far from there, who do not know the actual or true situation on ground, and who have not taken time to revisit the history and consider step by step what has been transpiring. If you take statistics and data, the Jews have been eliminated from all the Arab countries. If you take from 1948 to present, there were Jews in all the Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia. Today, for instance, there is no Jew in Saudi Arabia. All the Jews in all the Arab countries have been flushed out. On the other hand, you come to the state of Israel, the number of Arabs have multiplied.
Yeah.
The number of Arabs in the state of Israel have multiplied from what they were.
Absolutely, of course.
So who is committing genocide against who?
That's the point. Very good point, Barrister. Very good point.
Who is committing genocide against who?
Honestly.
Israel is welcoming, and the Arab population in Israel has been increasing, while the Jewish population in all the Arab countries, including Egypt, has vanished. So if people sit down and understand the situation, and in this Israel-Palestinian, it is not Israel that does not want to live with the Palestinians.
Yes,
It
it
is
is
the
the other way around.
Palestinians that
Yeah.
do not want Israel to exist in that place.
Yes.
Even as we speak, even in the midst of war, about 15 to 20,000 Palestinians go to work in Israel daily. They have working opportunities. They go to Israel and work, and they receive salaries and emoluments. So you can see it is not Israel that does not want. Israel's strength and its actions are based on the threat to its survival.
Yeah, that is it.
If today the Palestinians will not send suicide bombers to Israel, if they will not fire rockets to Israel, there will be no need for Israel to attack anybody.
Of course.
And I can give you an example. In 2006, when Israel withdrew from Gaza voluntarily on their own, there were 6 crossings from Gaza into Israel, and they were all open. It was the use of these crossings to send suicide bombers into Israel, where even in schools, school buses, caves, and other places where suicide bombers were being exploding and killing people, including children, that led Israel to block these crossings.
Crossing, yeah, with Egypt.
Leaving the Rafah crossing that crosses into
Egypt.
into Egypt. So there again, you see, it is not Israel that does not want to live with. It's these people that say, look, we cannot. And I told you on this platform, I think one time, that the Arab countries have met and announced the 3 R's. No relationship with Israel, no negotiation, no recognition of Israel on whatever basis. That is the root cause of the problem. And people like South Africa that justify that Israel has been violating United Nations resolution. You have to ask them just one question. What is the first resolution of the United Nations on this issue? It's resolution 181 in 1947. And the Israel accepted that resolution. It's the Arabs that rejected it. So anybody talking about United Nations resolution on this issue should go back to the beginning and find out who started rejecting the United Nations resolution on the conflict. So the South Africans, their ideological basis, framework, and logging onto those they believe help them during their struggle against the reality on the ground is the cause of the enmity now being displayed by the South African government to Israel.
Honestly, I rest my case. Honestly, you have dissected, because I wanted to give my own opinion, but honestly, I couldn't have done it better than what you just did. You have really said even beyond what I expected. I think this is well articulated. You are absolutely 100% correct. And that's just, I hope our viewers who are on the other side will understand the situation, because you don't just jump into a situation without even at least asking questions. Why is this thing really happening? Or without hearing from the other side, because what we learn to do these days is we just get emotional and just listen to one side, and we don't even dig further to find out why something is happening the way it is happening. And that is just the truth. Again, overall, the bottom line is South Africa, yes, they took Nigeria, was it 2 days, a couple of days ago, they sued Israel at the International Court of Justice for the charge of over genocide charge. And you can imagine why. I don't understand why South Africa would do that, because their situation then them was can never ever. It's not even close to what the Israel situation, the Israel Palestinian situation, or Israel-Palestine situation is at this moment. So these are two different ball games. Again, like I said, that you pointed that out. That when one of the reasons why they are against Israel is because during the apartheid time, the West didn't, the Europe and US didn't support them. They didn't support the blacks. They rather supported the apartheid regime. So they felt, as South Africa felt, and that's why anything you see, wherever you see the West going, South Africa takes a different, well, even at the United Nations, they always take, okay, not always, in most cases on significant votes or significant situations, they always take an opposite side opposite side of the West. It's sort of probably they are just trying to be vindictive. I understand that because I think in that area I don't have so much against them because loyalty matters a lot. If you were not with me in my time of trouble, why would you expect me to be with you in your own time of trouble? So I understand that, but for them to basically blame, basically try to actually compare their own situation to the Israel-Palestine situation, it is just out of place completely. Barrister, you couldn't have said it better.
Let me just add on the genocide charge.
Yes.
Because we are losing and missing something here. When you accuse Israel of genocide, the question I will ask is, if somebody emerged from somewhere and kill my people and I want to attack the person, and the person is hiding behind women and children, what do? I go back and sit and wait for the next time the person will emerge and kill my own women and children?
That's the point.
Secondly, the total tonnage of bombs dropped on Gaza has been assessed to be the equivalent of 3 Hiroshima bombs.
Wow. Wow.
Over these 88 days.
Yes. Wow.
Has been equivalent to the total of 3 Hiroshima bombs. Now, if Israel was on a genocidal path against the Palestinians,
yes,
and if these bombs were indiscriminately dropped, how many people will 3 atomic bombs kill?
Kill, that is the point.
With the
the screen has frozen. Barrister, we can't hear you. If you can you hear me? Anyway, I think the network is very, very poor. We can't continue with this anymore. Yeah, okay. Viewers, we shall bring this show to a close because we've lost network. Anyway, I think we have exhausted the entire the topic. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for always being with us. Please subscribe to our channel, Oweleke TV, for this and several other. Okay, Barrister, you are back. I was trying to round up. I was trying to close the show.
Internet failed.
Yeah, and it's still not stable. I think we are done for now because the internet is not stable.
Yes,
I'm just rounding up. So, viewers, this is JIBRIN Angle on Oweleke TV, and we have been having a very, very educative conversation or discussion with Barrister A. Manta, who is a very, very prominent lawyer who resides in Kaduna and operates both from Kaduna and Abuja. Barrister, thank you so very much. Sorry for the network issue. Anyway, I was already rounding up the whole stuff before the whole thing started. So I think we've said all you have said everything, and no one could have said it better than you. Thank you once again for availing yourself the time to be here.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, join us again next week and remain blessed.